And shout out to Rosie. Rosie, where are you? It was nice to meet you. Yeah.
So
you know how,
but I
you know how
acknowledge
they
your
say
feeling.
amazing grace.
I feel like you need to tell us which one is right.
I think I got it.
Yeah, no, Gerda got it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of Eurovision is My Religion. Hello, friends.
Hello,
Hi.
Katrina.
Hi.
Hello.
Friend. Hi. How are you feeling today?
Tired.
Same.
Shattered.
Same.
Exhausted.
You might be wondering how come we are feeling tired. We have a good reason for that. Yesterday we had a late night because we went to the London Eurovision Party. It was a great fun. We saw how many? 23, I think.
I think they said 23.
23 artists out of 37 that will be representing their countries in Eurovision this year. Quite an eclectic mix of songs, good diverse mix of songs. And for today's episode, I will have some questions for you that will guide our discussion as we debrief our experience yesterday. And then also, I asked you to update your tops. So we all had our combined Eurovision is My Religion top 37. Obviously, as we learn more about the performances and especially as we saw some of them live yesterday, that certainly impacted and influenced how we feel about certain songs, impacted our tops.
True.
So at the end of the episode, we'll have a very fun exercise where I will ask you to guess who are the biggest climbers and the biggest fallers in our top.
Oh, you will ask us to guess. So
I'll
it's
ask
a bit
you to
dramatic.
guess.
So we.
Yeah, exactly. But, that will be after we debrief our experience more generally. And talking about our experience, so how did you find the party yesterday? Yesterday, especially to compare it to last year, because we also went last year.
Organization was so much better. I was actually having fun there. Last year was just really bad kind of logistical operation. It was delayed. It was really hot. They were running late to the point where main artists were coming on stage at like 1 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
On Sunday night, it's just unheard of.
Yeah.
On a Sunday.
Yeah. And now, smooth operation. And yeah, everything finished in time. I loved it. They somehow put all of the kind of Eurovision artists from previous years at the start, so they weren't annoying me later. Great.
It's not only that we have a podcast about the whole thing. You're annoyed by the previous Eurovision.
Okay, some of them haven't
Let's
even
just
made
focus
to
on this
Eurovision
year.
yet, so...
True. Yeah.
That is true.
It was still a little bit hot. If they invest in
hot.
something, better AC or at least power it a little bit more. Because I would feel a little breeze on my face
You can
every
invest.
now and then and like,
You can invest in more expensive tickets, I think, to overcome that issue.
You think that's the solution?
I think that is the solution.
Oh, you think up there was colder?
Usually the heat goes up, so I don't
But
know.
fewer people up
There
there.
are people breathing into your neck.
Guess,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, but it was fun. And shout out to Rosie. Rosie, where are you? It was nice to meet you.
Yeah. How was it for you, Simona?
Yeah, I think as everybody covered logistically, it was a much better event. We're millennials now. Gerda said 1 a.m. in the morning, as if it's like a crazy night. I know, but it just weird. It sounds like weird. Sounds like we're old. No, it was really good. I think the presenters also were quite funny. They were not overdoing it. I think it's a bit weird that they still bring back the artist to say a few words and after their performance. But the funny thing is that 90% of the artists don't know that they're going to be brought back or forget it.
Yeah.
And it's always awkward. And it's just, I think that part maybe could be skipped next year because it's exactly how it happened last year.
Yeah,
And
it's a
this
bit
year
awkward for some of them.
Awkward again.
Although some of them, it looked like they couldn't get them off the stage. Like
Yeah.
Melody was,
Yeah.
She was going.
couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
And her a cappella moments.
Yeah.
But she was great. Yeah. Any other general remarks of the experience?
Beer expensive as usual.
Lockers as well. Lockers. You pay £80 for the ticket, and then you need to pay £8 for the locker.
That's almost
You could
10% of
get
the
a
ticket.
That's outrageous.
10%.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the price could be a bit cheaper, a bit more AC, but overall much better experience than
Great
last year.
experience, yeah. And thank you, London Eurovision Party, for year on year gathering this big amount of participants.
Yeah, thanks.
Was that an attempt of a British accent?
Oh no, I don't know.
Okay.
I just think it's funny.
In that case, to make our discussion a bit more structured, I have a few questions for you that hopefully will help us debrief our experience in a more interesting way. Let's start with a positive note. I would like to hear, what were your biggest positive surprises of the night? Which performer or a band or an act surprised you the most? Or maybe it was something completely random.
Škodra elektronike.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Biggest surprise?
I agree. Yeah, she just online people are saying how she's slaying this year, and I think I'm personally not into her actual song, but when they were singing as a duo, both she and the what's his name? Does anybody know? The bald serious man.
Yeah.
Beatrice and
Behind the DJ.
Cole? I think his name is something like that. Let me double check.
He seemed super relaxed and cool, and they transitioned to this dance music and electronic, and she was all witchy and like Yaga Festival back home in Lithuania. Shout out.
Shout out to Lithuania, to Yaga.
Yeah, I could easily see them in the middle of a forest with lights.
I'm sorry, but this is such an unexpected shout out from Eurovision podcast to Yaga Festival.
There's accreditations there at least.
There is a connection.
His name is Cole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I thought they were cool.
I think they were the only performance that I wasn't. You know how they come, some of them come on with just one song.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them bring 3 songs, and with them it was a completely new single.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, and normally I just get let's just get Eurovision songs. That's what I came here for.
Mm-hmm.
With them, I was like, wow, this is such a nice track.
Good
I will
point.
look them up when I'm home, right?
Yes.
And it was 10 minutes long, and I was entertained the whole way through. So I don't even think their Eurovision song is the best.
No.
Out of all of their songs.
I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
I felt twice, like what you just described. I felt it twice last night with Albania and with Latvia's first song. So the mini intro they did were also combining folk, Baltic elements and techno. Completely agree with you.
I think you might actually like techno, Katrina. I know you say you don't,
I
but
like melodic,
there's
ethnic techno.
There are genres in techno world. Yeah,
I think Katrina doesn't like the techno culture, but the music she doesn't always, doesn't like.
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised by Czechia, by Adonis' performance.
Blow me a kiss goodbye. Don't want my tears to dry. One kiss of love, one kiss of dance by. In a moment till us collide. There's no other place to hide. Only one surprise when the night arrives. Can you be mine? You seem so hungry, it almost fooled me. When you said you loved me, it almost moved me. Kiss, kiss, goodbye.
I think what I was surprised about is that his voice sounded exactly like the studio version, and as deep as
sultry
it has to
voice.
be.
Oh, such a deep.
So that was like, oh my God, that's such a great voice. So that really, really surprised me, and I think the performance itself was quite sort of quite entertaining. The dance break didn't feel completely out of, it was sort of somehow it fitted. So I really, I was surprised by that one, if we're talking about surprise.
Yeah. And I was surprised, really genuinely surprised about the fact that I kind of enjoyed Croatia.
I think he's such,
Yes. I was I found myself enjoying it.
And the artist is quite nice, and I think we came to like the artist now. So because the artist reshares our stories, so we were like, "I love you, you're the best."
But also, I think it's what we talked about last time. Like he dropped a lot of these childish elements, and even the so-called childish part, the way he was singing it didn't sound as nursery rhyme-ish.
It's true. He made it sound as if he's like it's like a slight mockery, but leading up to his aggressive burst at the end. So it was like ironic, not like smiley, not weird, but more like sassy.
Yeah.
Borderline aggressive.
Exactly, sassy. I actually also was really surprised by the performance. I quite liked it. Not my favorite maybe song, but I actually enjoyed it and enjoyed how he performs on stage.
And
you think maybe he took our you think maybe he took our comment to heart and changed it when he saw it?
You're welcome. We are here providing free advice.
No problem.
I definitely felt like he was very like singing really well on stage as well, like live, like even almost better than the studio version. Maybe I didn't give like enough time to the studio version, but when he started singing, even with his like first song, which was his non-Eurovision song, I was like, wow, he's actually a great singer. Like I was pleasantly surprised that he kind of can deliver that live performance really well.
Yeah. I really loved Malta.
That was your surprise as well?
Well, I thought that I liked Malta's song already, so I didn't hate it. But I thought that I'm going to be let down on the stage. And then she came on the stage. She owned the stage. It was fun. She really loves her song. And I think that transpires. And then how she managed to bring all the like different artists at the end on the balls, with Gojo and others. I felt like, that is such an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And the message is good.
And clearly, I think she's a very, very nice person because she's making friends with all these artists.
Yeah.
So you saw Gojo, Marco, Sisal, and
JJ.
And JJ. They were all so happy for her at the end of the song. They were like clapping and cheering her on. Like, she's really likable.
I've heard, I watched Eurovision Histories, shout out, just before this. And he also highlighted one quite nice thing is that she's not afraid to share the stage.
Yeah.
She's literally invited her competitors, technically.
Exactly.
And she's not afraid because what's for her to lose? She has a good song. She's enjoying what she's doing. And, there is plenty of space for everybody. So I really, really, really genuinely enjoyed the song and the performance and her.
And I also saw on social media that after she performed the London Eurovision Party, she and Gojo then also went on to perform at Heaven Club.
That was night before.
Night before?
Yeah,
it was.
Okay.
On Saturday night, I think they went to Heaven.
I thought that was Sunday. Weren't they in Manchester on Saturday? Because Manchester
maybe Friday. Because I remember I saw the TikToks of them performing in Heaven before we went to
we can cut this part. Don't listen to me.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But yeah.
But nonetheless, we performed in Heaven.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because I thought everything happened on Sunday. I was like, where are they getting the energy? I mean, I was shattered. Like, I was like screaming to get home. And they're obviously traveling like that all the time, right? So crazy. One thing I didn't appreciate about Malta, and I'm going to say it, is her freebies, her giveaways. Hated it. Honestly.
What, the underwear?
Like yeah.
It's not the underwear. You can give out the underwear. It's Shein underwear. Like we don't need more Shein clothes being given.
We don't need more plastic clothes. Yeah, I didn't like that.
So I thought I'm gonna get some agreement from at least you, Katrina.
Yeah.
Everyone else seems to hate this planet, so they don't care about Shein clothes.
I appreciate you bringing up this point.
What was the underwear made of? What is
Shein? You know the company Shein?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's just like.
Are they ultra?
It's like Primark, but maybe
Where
even
did you
worse.
see this? Was it on the? You knew the what?
Yeah,
was it written?
It was coming out of the bag. It's just like Shein bag. Yeah,
I didn't even notice it was Shein bag, but yeah, I mean the props. You could get away without them for sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
I appreciate you bringing that up. That would be part of one of my biggest disappointments, but we already covered it.
Yeah.
Any other honorable mentions in terms of biggest surprises before we move on?
So I was surprised not by the performance, by the reaction of people, especially with the audience that we had in that pre-party, to Finland. I thought like there's gonna be a lot of support for these kind of camp entries, you know, like Erica's, Mariana's, and the likes. I didn't think this is necessarily like the key audience for the Swedish entry. I thought it would be maybe like getting less support, but I think it was like the biggest act of the night.
But the whole fandom like loves them, so I wasn't surprised.
It's not. This is not just fandom, right? Like the whole event was like very much LGBTQ, right?
Yeah, but I think people who pay £80 on a Sunday night for 6 hours per party, most of them are part of a fandom.
These could be like very different groups, right? Like fandom could be like, I don't know, like we were talking about this, but in Lithuania, it's not necessarily an LGBTQ kind of adjacent event, right? Like this is not necessarily something like in the UK, probably. You're probably right, but like it doesn't have to be like an overlap between.
Yeah, but we were in the UK.
Yeah, and I was just surprised. I'm just expressing my surprise to the reaction that it got, because I thought it's going to be much more like skewed towards Erica, basically. That was my surprise.
That's a valid feeling. Garda, thank you for sharing.
And I didn't feel like it was valid with the reaction I got.
But I would agree. I mean, in general, I'm a bit surprised that Sweden. Well, I was surprised in the beginning because I thought it was too much of a joke song, and then it sort of began to grow on me. But seeing the reaction in the arena sort of makes it real. You know, when people are reacting and everybody's singing along, everybody knows that chorus phrase, and even though it's not English, and
I agree. And let me quickly jump ahead here. One of my final questions was, what did we think was the biggest crowd pleasers? And I think we are giving an answer here, right?
Yeah.
Sweden.
It was undeniably the biggest reaction from the crowd, right? Like there was no one even comparing to that.
I think so.
Honorable mention, Spain.
Spain was also like very, very...
We have many Spanish fans of our podcast.
And I have another honorable mention, is San Marino's I'm Blue da Budida Budai. That was quite
nuts.
a crowd pleaser.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
Everyone was singing as well.
And it kept going and going. And he started with a low tempo, Blue da Budida Budai, and it grew into almost like hardcore. And everybody's jumping. And after the song,
have to finish with a hardcore part
I
these
turned
days.
to Gerda, and Gerda said, how can anybody follow this performance? Because it was like halfway done through the show.
Yeah. It's kind of a performance to close the show with. But I mean, I think Gojo did well to follow Gabri, and he managed to still keep the crowd alive.
Are we still out honorable mentions, or are you
Absolutely.
moving away from
Yeah.
honors?
Any other crowd pleasers that stood out for you?
Not a crowd pleaser, but what was a surprising performance was Serbia with Mila, and
Fair.
just
fair.
the vocals.
Mila, ti si platila što volim te ja. Mila, život vratila sa ruba. Ima mnogo razloga da ipak voliš drugoga tako mi.
Oh God, that was so good. Like, just I don't know, just delivered so well. And then he did Wesley Mains, isn't it? Part of a
He
song.
carried it. He was
and
able
he
to
was
sing
doing
it perfectly.
really, really, really well. So that was really, really surprising.
Which is another transition to another question I had. Best vocals of the night.
Like we're just speed running through this
It's
episode.
almost-
Like,
Wow.
So Serbia,
I guess at the end of the day, everything overlaps one way or another. But best vocals, I had noted Serbia as well as the best male vocals
Yeah.
undeniable.
Surprisingly good, yeah. I wrote him off as kind of a strange, not my taste ballad, but the vocals were strong, yeah.
but I think so I agree it's the best vocals. I think to me it just wasn't really a surprise per se, because he was already strong in the national
Yeah, but
finals,
maybe you don't hear it as close up, and maybe...
Yeah, but like I didn't put him in the category of
bad.
he's gonna flop.
Yeah.
Like I was already like, yeah, this is like a jury vocal kind of power ballad.
Yeah.
right?
yeah. But coming back to feelings, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
I feel like there's some clash happening here.
You need to...
Two people are tired and just lashing
just
out
saying,
on each
like-
other.
Is it okay for me to feel surprised?
Is it okay for me to have a different opinion from you?
Thanks. Thanks.
So, Gerda, I feel like that was surprising how much I enjoyed those vocals, because I don't
Although,
typically enjoy
I'll
this
just
one.
add one part. He did.
Oh, you're gonna invalidate my feelings.
No, I just
Gosh,
feel.
the millennials
I
really
have-
can't stay beyond 12
I have
p.m.
my
these
own
days.
thought. Can I say my own thought, please? Thanks.
Please stop interrupting
Thanks.
for once.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
I just thought he was showing off a little bit. I don't know. Maybe Slimane was as well, but when he was singing that Slimane song, he did the vocal, inflection when he's already at a powerful note, and he goes like. I felt that it was a little bit not tasteful, but
It was all for Simona.
So you think he said this was his favorite Eurovision song ever? So you think
No, he said he likes to sing it a cappella, but he likes, of course.
But you mentioned it like because he loves the song as well. But you think it was more of a like, oh, look at me, I am no worse than Sleeman.
Well, of course. Well, yes, but also when he was singing it, he did the little inflection, like when U.S. anthems, they sing the U.S. anthem and they sing.
For you to like that inflection, really.
Yeah, that one moment I thought.
Just really triggered.
I thought, oh, he's showing off a little bit.
Yeah.
But
everything was perfect at point,
But of course, Slimane song is also about powerful vocal, and he does have it, so he made a point. It's okay.
I mean, he came here to sell his song and his performance, so I suppose he used that opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So
I acknowledge your feeling.
Amazing grace. You know those?
I know it.
In the stadiums.
Yeah.
I don't think he was doing that much.
It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, okay.
No, it wasn't.
But all in all, best male vocals of the night. Are we all in agreement here?
Yeah, true.
I'm not writing off to Austria. I was not surprised by him because again,
we moved on from surprises. We are just now discussing the best vocals.
But I thought he may flop. I thought he may not deliver those vocals live, and actually it was pretty much as recorded, right? Like it was very solid.
Well, one thing that was definitely not as recorded is the whole end bit, which is the coolest part of the song, where you're meant to sing. I don't know what you're meant to do, but that was the whole like, that
Good.
part.
Yeah, but
he didn't sing; he was just hanging around on the stage.
I think you literally raised that point in the episode, like how is he going to do that live?
Yeah.
And the answer is he's not, because it's impossible, right? Like it's a 20-second like interval of
and he expanded that part yesterday.
Yeah, wasn't it longer?
Much longer. Much like
we were counting seconds how much he was going
it just
on.
felt like it was like beat and he was flopping around on the ground.
Yeah, at least twice, if not 3 times longer.
Maybe because he is not singing that part, so
he's not singing, and he knows he came to a party. So I guess he wanted song to be even more suitable for a party.
I think it's timely made, but that's why I wouldn't give to the vocals bit, because if he was able to produce somehow that sound or something near that sound on stage live, that would have been crazy. But now he hasn't done that part, which is the coolest part.
So he hasn't met your unrealistic expectations.
So, but like, what
part of the song though?
What is he going to do on the stage?
Surely he can just apply some distortion and sing a note and like and just cut it up like with a mic. You can apply effects. Right?
I don't know if you can distort it.
Some effects, like echo-ish. No, you cannot?
I think there's back vocals, and he has that recording, and he had it yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know if because it's supposed to be live, right? So you can't distort live.
So he has to do something like he has to do a spectacle on stage, basically during those 20 seconds. Because if he's not singing, what is he doing?
Well,
what is he doing?
Let me try. Maybe it's possible.
Oh, imagine him.
Maybe you can figure it out. Yeah.
It'd be something different for sure.
Anyway, but good vocals as well. What about female vocals? Best female vocals of the night.
Well, there were some usual suspects, I suppose. Montenegro.
Was good,
that was really great. Malta served. Oh, Denmark.
That was mine.
Was it a quiz that I was trying to guess?
That's the correct answer. Denmark.
Got it at the end.
Also the Latvian ladies. I like the harmonies as they were not singing in the beginning, and once they began, it just like super clear, on point, like a nice harmony.
Oh, that was one of the biggest surprises. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Latvia's performance was so nice.
That's okay.
We're gonna introduce some structure.
No structure.
Chaotic structure.
Let's go back. Speaking of,
They didn't have any of their stage props, as in those things that we had on the stage. The national
colorful, magical ropes.
No ropes on the stage, and no like lightning and other aspects of the show. But the performance still was so enchanting.
yeah,
I loved it. Even more for that, the fact that it was without those details, and I was still enchanted and couldn't stop watching, and I enjoyed it from the start to the end.
Yeah.
Cecils geras darbs.
Did you prepare this, or
No.
are you improvising?
Is this really Latvian?
No, I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
Probably 50% accurate.
Okay. Anyway, you can come back to Denmark as well if you want to.
Yeah. No, her vocals are so impactful, so clean, so strong. And obviously Montenegro's vocals are probably as strong, but it's just the Denmark song is probably more suitable for a Eurovision party. So it left a big impression on me.
What I also noted, again, probably not a surprise considering the national final performance, but actually Spain's vocals were really strong.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a U-turn on Spain and no,
No, but her vocals and stage presence was
and she just
crazy.
didn't stop singing. Like she had like no kind of weariness in her voice or anything. She could like
She's a
And that
fire.
a cappella part after the song.
Yeah,
Powerful.
and she changed her dress. It's also what we
we're
spoke
talking about
about.
vocals at
Didn't
the
we
moment.
say that we were?
stop introducing structure into this chaotic episode.
we were. It's what I was surprised about, actually. Pleasantly surprised.
Katrina should be that giver. You just throw things out.
Didn't we say on one of our earlier episodes we were saying change the dress to something Spanish, something red, something? Here we go. You're welcome. It's another tip.
She listened to you, Simona.
I actually loved the stage presence of her.
Yeah.
She's done a great job, and I really actually enjoyed it as well. Another surprise thing.
Surprise! We can call this episode surprise.
Surprise! The party of surprises.
Bulgaria's coming back.
I have one more surprise.
Can we also do a thumbnail with all of us like?
Just the whole episode. Yeah.
I was actually surprised. I don't think anyone, in my opinion, like flopped massively vocally. Like I didn't feel like, like last year we came back and we were like, Belgium was like flopping. This year, I don't know. Like I felt like everyone kind of was decent.
Yeah.
Okay. A segue into a biggest disappointment.
Not the biggest disappointment, because I expected to be disappointed, and I was disappointed.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
Australia.
No.
Oops.
I'm sorry, Ireland. But did she
but
flop
not vocally?
Maybe I just really don't like the vocals. So probably it wasn't a flop of the vocal performance. It's just not a performance I enjoy.
You don't like
a new
her
section that we're discussing now.
No, just as a detour.
Okay, so let's not expand then.
I liked her other song that she sang. The ritual.
Witch.
Welcome to the
To the Witchwoods. She was in Melfest final with the song 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I think they introduced 2021. Not 2001.
She was
a long time
was she
ago.
born at
That's
that
a
time?
very long time ago.
Yeah.
This is nevertheless a good segue to
the biggest surprise.
The most big surprise.
The biggest disappointment of the night.
Okay.
So there are songs that you already probably didn't like and you continue not liking. So that's fine. But was there anything that you kind of liked and got disappointed by?
Yeah.
Who's gonna start?
It's a heavy sigh from everybody.
It's a very heavy sigh for me. Like, it hurts me. It's gonna hurt me to say these things.
I think we're all gonna say the same, right?
Well, I have two that will hurt me.
Let's just get through it.
Let's just do it. Let's just.
I am an alcoholic. Oh wait.
Wrong group.
Okay, sorry.
That's your Friday's
I
group.
thought you were gonna say yum yum, and I would be like, sweet yum yum.
Come and take a sip from my special cup. I heard that you can use a little pick me up. What can get you high when you're oh so sad? It's the milk from the milkshake man. Well, I got chocolate, vanilla, and lactose free.
So the voice not as deep as we thought.
Okay.
The man as tall as we thought.
As we thought. Yeah. Okay. So it's for all of us. Yeah.
And I wasn't surprised by or disappointed by his vocals. I think I was disappointed by his stage presence. For some reason, I don't know, he kind of seemed not as confident as he was generally in his maybe music video, or even like in the intervals when he was kind of thanking the crowd, or like he was invited back on stage for some competition. I think in those moments he was confident and really kind of entertaining, but I feel like when he was performing the song, he was a bit like unsure what to do, and maybe that was not really aligned to what I was expecting from him or how I was imagining his performance.
For me, it was the same reason for me. I was not bothered by his vocals.
It wasn't bad vocals. I have never said it was bad vocals. I just said it wasn't as deep as I hoped it would be.
All right.
Sue me.
But I also just, and I say that with a very, very, very heavy heart, because Australia has been in my top 3 for the past, since the song came out pretty much. But I just didn't click with his stage presence, exactly what Gerda said. And I don't know, it seems like he's asked to play a character that doesn't come naturally to him. So it somehow doesn't feel authentic and doesn't feel that his heart is in it. So even though he's doing the sexy hip moves that sexy milkshake man is supposed to do, like, I don't know
that the milkshake man is meant to do this move, but yes.
Yeah, where are you guys getting those milkshakes?
the milkshake man.
Yeah. What kind of milk is delivered to your home?
I don't know, but I was not clicking with him, and it's a shame. It's a shame. I don't know. So maybe should tone the character down or switch up the character that he's portraying on the stage so that it feels more authentic to him and he feels more comfortable with what he's doing.
Yeah, and I don't think he needs to change much, right? Like, as I said, like he's, when he's just given the platform to like speak up, he's very confident and very kind of, just like a great entertainer. It's just something's not clicking with the song, either song or with how he is trying to kind of perform that song. Like something's not
think
there.
When we were discussing the video clip, we were discussing how he's gonna portray this on stage, and we thought if it's gonna be PG or not PG. And what we have now, it seems like it's a kind of, I don't know what it even is about, because what he's doing, his whole theme is that he's stumbling around and he's disoriented, and he's like he is being pulled like by gravity and like falling over almost. And
I think that's actually meant to be sexy. So you're describing it as some kind of condition.
Is this sexy these days?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. That's the idea behind it.
I know, like the moves that you are describing, like they probably weren't that sexy, but like there was some sexy hip moves for yourself.
He moved a little bit, but
you like disoriented moves?
Feels like that's when I'm the sexiest, when I'm disoriented.
for a milkshake man, who is this mythical creature that's supposed to awaken people's desires and to seek the milkshake of their dreams.
Are you all familiar with this milkshake man lore?
The archetype of the imagine like the milkshake man. Like what a milkshake man would be. And I would imagine like in the dark part of the song when he's going yum yum, like stage goes dark, lights go down, and it, like light on him, and he's like almost menacing but sexy, you know.
What I'm thinking, and sort of maybe, so obviously we've been preparing on how we're actually going to perform on the stage, presumably with props, with lights, with other things. And because we've been preparing for sort of how it will look at the final, and here you didn't have anything, and a very bare sort of stage as such, maybe he got a bit lost. And I wonder, maybe he's having loads of props or things and stuff like that on the Eurovision stage, especially as he's starting, so everything can be set up quite easily. And maybe he felt a bit lost without them. Because he's been prepping for that, like, you know, lights and things and how it will look like, and now it's like it's a bit odd. So maybe it's that, and I hope it's that, and I hope he finds sort of his vibe and groove and on the Eurovision final stage.
I really hope so.
On Eurovision stage and potentially final stage.
I just hope it becomes in some way a little bit darker than just like candy performance on stage with him stumbling about. I hope that some of those props are darker.
So just to confirm, you don't like how he's stumbling?
No, I'm just the whole vibe,
colors and
the whole energy. Yeah. It's like it's very.
I'm joking.
There's nothing.
We're always joking here. Just FYI for everybody. It's not.
No, I get it, and clearly we all feel the same. Any other big disappointments? Who would like to go next?
So much hesitation. Right? So. Again, it wasn't a huge disappointment, but something that made me think a little bit is that when we saw Finland on stage, she wasn't singing as powerfully as I expected her to sing on a stage.
That was my second disappointment as well.
I enjoyed the song and I still like it, and I think the people vibed, but it didn't feel as powerful. And I think there's two reasons for that.
I like how
nobody is invited to participate in this one.
You already tell us the reason.
No, I think one of the reasons
strap in for a long ride.
Maybe similar to Australia is that she didn't have a lot of space to play with. And I remember in her final performance that we all saw and fell in love with, she's like moving through stage and can work with a camera a lot. Here, no sort of
very
work with a camera, very constrained, very different. So I think that was part. The second part is that she didn't maybe handle, the vocals didn't feel as strong as in that previous performance. So I think she just needs to work on it. And I don't know what the reason is, but that was sort of my impression. I wasn't as excited after the performance as before.
Okay, I'll have to look at the recordings. It didn't click with me at the time when I was there. So but I think we have plenty of recordings to reflect on. So
check on it.
Any thoughts,
Katrina? It clicked.
Yeah, for me,
you could have put it more eloquently than I did.
I didn't enjoy it.
Oh,
at all.
You could.
But you weren't a big fan of it before.
I liked it. It's been in my
top
10, right?
For many, many weeks it was top 1, then top 3, then top 5. Now it's out
20.
It's out of. It's out.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
I don't know. It's
it's my personal top, right? It's not a combined.
It's just spoiling her own top.
I don't know. It didn't click with me. And what I noticed, other than the things that you mentioned, Simona, is when the chorus says the ikome thing, I wanted it louder. It sounded like
powerful.
I want like this bass, ikome, like reverberating through my body. And then I wasn't even sure if it was there at all, or I was just hearing the audience saying it.
Yeah.
And it just did not give me that impact. And that I feel that when I listen to the recording of the song, that Ich komme part is the one that hits me the most, because I really, really used to enjoy it.
But does she actually sing that part?
She doesn't. It's pre-recorded.
Yeah,
but even if it's pre-recorded, I would like the music like hit me with some power.
Do you think that's a problem with the sound?
Maybe.
I don't know. Engineers,
Maybe
whatever,
it was.
the audio guys in the.
We don't know. Yeah,
the venue,
we'll have to see how it looks like in semifinal. But for me, it was a disappointment. I was really hoping to enjoy the song.
I really was looking forward to this.
I was looking forward to it, and I didn't quite enjoy it.
She didn't carry the stage. I don't know what it was exactly, but Spain, I think, captivated more, right? Shout out to Spain. Eso divas valiente, Panteros.
Are you going to cover Spain as your biggest disappointment? Because that would be a plot twist.
Because we moved on already from the
It's my biggest surprise. Speaking of,
I'll have a bonus question, so you might be able to bring up Spain again. But please hold just
Thank
for.
you.
But I mean, this time it happened so organically, like I barely noticed.
Thank you.
Any other disappointments that you would like to mention?
I mean, I don't know. There were songs that I didn't like before, and I just continued to dislike them. So, but
yes, that's as expected.
Yeah, as expected. I don't think we need to talk about them, but
I suppose you mentioned. But yeah, I think it's hard. I didn't click with Ireland's song before, and I don't click even more now. So I think, but that wasn't like disappointment. Like it was just, it's not my song. And not my performance.
But somehow it was like made creepier on stage.
That's why I was saying I didn't click even more now.
What made it more creepy?
Half-naked men.
Half-naked men.
And the dog.
And the cartoonish dog with like big eyelashes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally have a shot of like that cartoonish dog and then men just like seductively
just
dancing.
A really
and I'm
weird
like,
combination.
Oh, and the bones. For me, it was the bones in the background,
There were
right?
bones
Flying
as well?
across
Oh, I didn't
space.
see that.
Bones. And I was thinking of Laika's bones.
Right?
No,
You know
I
how
think that's what it's meant to.
when we
probably.
first discussed the song, we discussed how, well, at least we hope that there will be some meaningful visuals. And she literally went the opposite direction to make it feel even more like, I don't know, distasteful.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't enjoy it even more than before.
Okay. And before we move on to the biggest climbers and the biggest fallers in our updated top, I have a bonus question for you. So off the back of yesterday's Eurovision party, to which band you would like to buy tickets to see them, to go to their concert, or an artist? Like who's, if
I
they
know
release
yours.
tickets?
Yeah, we know
Is
yours.
Albania.
How do you know?
Squadra
because
Electronica.
you mentioned it.
Oh yeah.
You
he
don't
said
like
it.
it so much.
Yeah, that's why I come up
You
with that
literally
question.
said that.
You literally said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually
said
did.
it.
I
I would
did.
like to go to their concert.
Yeah, that's how I came up with that question, because I was like, yeah, that's them in Latvia was like two moments once again yesterday when I was like, I really want to listen to more of their music, you know, beyond their Eurovision song.
Yeah, Latvia. I agree. Both of yours. I'm with you.
Okay. I don't need to elaborate, of course.
No.
Not Melody? You wouldn't go to her concert?
I mean, maybe, but for me, it's more like a guilty pleasure.
But that's okay. You can go to concerts of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have to choose one,
Yeah, and it's like
But he chose
concerts.
two.
Concerts cost money, and you know, it's
she chose
when it's something like Latvia, it's artistic and beautiful, and probably the stage will be something to see. Melody is just, you know, fun pop song.
yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Samala Garda.
I think realistically speaking, probably Catharsis, because that's sort of a concert-like music band sort of performance that I would like to see and would probably enjoy our songs of.
And we didn't actually discuss Catharsis. How did you find them yesterday?
What a nice segue.
Nice segue to another secret question. What do you actually think about Catharsis? No, but Gerda, before we move
No,
to
I
Catharsis.
agree with Katrina. I think we actually talked about this, but and I think it kind of flows naturally from my point about the second song being like almost nicer than their Eurovision song. So like I was actually intrigued. Like I would love to go and see them live to listen to more of their music. So yeah.
By them we mean Shkodra Electronica,
yes,
rather than Latvia.
No, they were really good, very really interesting, and sounds like a good festival.
I was mesmerized by them, and for me yesterday when Albania finally clicked, because for months, well, a big part of the fan community have been obsessed with their song, and I was like, okay, it's interesting, it's different, but I don't fully get the hype. And yesterday when I saw her live and I saw how they do music on stage, it clicked for me. I was like, oh, okay, that's why.
So for me, I had a little bit of a sneak peek. I don't think it was Amsterdam pre-party. It was one of the Nordic pre-parties. I think the first one. And I saw a TikTok and I was like, whoa, like this is actually like magical. Like I'm mesmerized by this performance. And I was actually like, very excited that they are coming to London, because I wanted to see whether it's kind of, it's the same live or maybe it's just kind of a recording being really good. But yeah, completely met my expectations.
Even the fire effects looked cool. They made fire effects look cool with like that ball behind. And what's his name? I forget. You mentioned it. Yeah, he came up to the microphone and he was so relaxed. I remember even at the DJ booth, it seemed like he was just.
He was in his.
He was
element.
not. He was not pretending to do a performance. He just came up and
so natural,
turning some knobs. Something.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about them before they may not qualify? I'm like completely like 180.
Yeah, 180. Like 180.
They're top 10.
True.
For me.
So talking about other performance that are also very natural and authentic, Catharsis. How did you find them, since you would go to their concert?
I found them that they perform basically quality song, quality vocals every time, which is something that you would expect from a band. I think it created that great, that feeling that they expected to create on the stage. I feel like obviously with this kind of song is not really a Eurovision pre-party song in terms of people come to party, and it's always a bit weird to obviously have such, melancholic feeling that they are creating through their music. But really enjoyed good like band performance. That's the thing, that's like a good concert vibe. Like that's why I thought.
Did you think the audience was engaged with their song?
No, I think the audience was much less engaged than I thought they would be engaged. Nobody felt like was shouting Tavo, or I couldn't hear anybody from my shouting Tavo all this time. So it could be my fault, but I don't think people were really engaged. But I think people who listen to this kind of music and who happen to watch Eurovision, they will appreciate that. So I think there will be a vote for this. I think it's just when you come from a really like sometimes cheesy Eurovision pre-party with a costume, contest is happening at the same time. It's not really the vibe.
It's not their natural element,
song,
is it?
I would say. So I kind of understood why the people maybe didn't vibe as much as I hoped they would.
Although, and I saw some videos because he pointed the microphone to the audience a couple of times during that Tawa segment. It wasn't very like completely quiet.
No. I think
there was enough, I guess, people shouting back, but maybe not as many.
Yeah, I remember Luktelk was
not as many as Luktelk.
Very big thing was that everybody was shouting Luktelk.
You dance,
yeah,
and you
exactly.
sing.
So it's just not the same sort of.
We were again talking about this on the way back home, but it's even interesting how in which place they performed in the pre-party, right? Compared to Luktelk last year. Luktelk was very much like, final segment, close to the headliners, like very popular act. here they were like somewhere in the middle. Like I don't think like there was like a lot of like excitement when they introduced Lithuania.
Yeah, because it was the first song after one of the breaks.
Yeah.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
were just still coming back from the toilet and buying drinks.
But I think it's kind of the decision was made for a reason, right? So it's just a very different reaction. But as you said, I think there's gonna be support in Eurovision, and I would like to see them live again. What I wouldn't like to see again is probably them on stage giving an interview, because that was a bit painful to watch. But that's for another day.
It was one of the worst ones amongst all those fake interviews that were happening. That most
they
of
were
the
all
people
pretty
didn't
bad,
want.
but I think this one came on top.
They were like, "Hey."
They just want to do the music, on stage, and then leave them alone. They don't want to do any interviews or talking.
Yeah. I mean, they were asked to introduce themselves and give their names, and it was too hard.
It was a very painful name introduction.
But at least they stayed authentic in answering his questions and just saying,
I'm just saying, I would watch their live performance, not their live interviewing.
I find social awkwardness endearing to an extent, but
tell us when you reach the limit. You're like, now catharsis is too far. No, but yeah, I enjoyed it generally.
Okay, with that, I think let's move to the final segment of our show.
Our show again.
the biggest surprise.
The Monday Night Live.
Yeah, we did. We barely talked about biggest surprises.
Well, there might be some surprises in store for you, because basically, as I said, I compared our pre-London Eurovision Party top 37 and post-London Eurovision Party top 37, and I found some big climbers and big fallers. So keep in mind, I'm comparing our combined tops, right? Not individual tops.
Okay, brace yourselves.
So
before we start, I want to
get surprise.
What was
just one more surprise?
One more single biggest surprise.
I wanted to ask you: did you only change the positions of the performers that were there yesterday in the London pre-party, or did you move around everything?
Yeah.
I reallocated my life choices.
Okay, so when you're asking who's the biggest climber, it may be somebody that we haven't even seen.
Yeah, exactly. They might have climbed for other reasons. Maybe
in
we
relation to the other changes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You'll be like, I haven't seen you live, but I trust you're better than this.
So let's start with the biggest fallers, the biggest falls that happen in our top. And initially I wanted to do like top 3, so select 3 songs. But what happened in the end is that we have a joint second place, where 5 countries dropped 6 places.
Oh wow. Oh,
and then we have one country that dropped even more, but we'll get back to it.
Come on, countries.
What are you doing?
How come?
So, any guesses? What are the 5 countries that dropped 6 places?
So I think Finland dropped more because Katrina bashed it out of her top 10. So that will be that biggest.
I think
the biggest drop will be Australia, right? That's where we spend the most time talking about it.
None of these countries.
So,
whoa!
Wait,
exactly.
none of them are in the 6th drop?
No.
There is one country we dropped most, so that will be Finland, I would imagine.
No, she just said none of these countries.
No, in relation to 6 places, there is one which dropped even further.
Yes.
Have you not listened?
We'll get back to it. Okay, so the 6 countries.
The 6
combination of the biggest drops.
No. I think there is 5 that dropped 6 places.
I feel like you
and
need to
one
tell
that
us
dropped
which
more.
one is right.
I think I got it.
Yeah, no, Gerda got it.
That's your worst.
If Olga's got it, that would be fine. But Gerda got it. That's literally the worst.
She's the worst person who can get it.
Finland is not in this list.
Gerda.
Finland is not in this list.
She's not Gerda, okay?
I might have personally dropped it, but it did not influence the combined top that much.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop speaking.
Right. So
can you explain, Gerda, what is happening?
So let me tell you, it's actually 4 countries that we did not see yesterday, and 1 country that we saw yesterday. Only 1 country that we saw yesterday. And I guess that explains maybe we were a little bit biased towards the countries that we did see yesterday. We put them up in our top. And as a consequence, some of the countries we didn't see dropped down.
Okay, so she's giving a clue about something we didn't see.
I'm gonna guess Netherlands.
Yes,
Correct.
Yeah, that's a good
France.
point.
Netherlands dropped from our combined 14 to the 20th. France is not in the list.
Germany.
No. Remains strong.
What about Tommy Cash?
So I'm just gonna tell you,
You're useless.
he is the one that dropped even more. So Estonia is the country that dropped the most by 8 places. So from the 18th to 26th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Surprising.
That can't be like everyone moving up. Like, I feel like some of you just got bored of the song and just dropped it
that's
further.
a weird effect, right? We see some songs and others drop so much.
Yeah.
It speaks to maybe
Bias.
Yeah.
bias. Yeah.
So let me tell you what are the other 3 songs that we didn't see yesterday. So Azerbaijan from the 7th to 13th, Cyprus from 12th to 18th, Ukraine from 13th to 19th, Netherlands that we mentioned, and there's one country that we saw yesterday. And one country that we didn't discuss yet today.
That dropped.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. What did
One
we see
country.
yesterday?
I feel like we discussed
United
everything.
Kingdom?
Ooh,
No.
Poland?
Ireland.
No.
Ireland?
No, we discussed Ireland.
Poland?
Sorry.
You're not listening today at all.
I'm disappointed in myself so much.
Simona, it's okay.
Let me just tell you the one song that we did see yesterday and that actually we haven't discussed yet today and also dropped 6 places in our top is Norway.
Somewhere along the way I lost my mind. I had to walk 100,000 miles. I'm not afraid to set it on fire. I won't fall again. I'll be my own lighter. Nothing can burn me now.
Ooh.
Okay, so we're gonna carry. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. No. So we just gonna carry on and explain to our viewers that we are very tired and we tried to re-record this 5 times already and we're just losing our shit.
Okay.
I mean, it's surprising that it dropped so much because I don't think any of us dislike the song or performance.
No,
He
the
performed
performance
well, right?
performance was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
No feedback for his vocals or movements.
No.
Great charisma.
I think we just dragged our songs around, and basically that was like a bit of a consequence of a situation.
Yeah,
rather than,
unfortunate collateral damage, but yeah.
Sorry, Norway. I'm sure you'll come back.
I guess
Once we drag that over.
We all kind of enjoyed the song, but none of us really love it.
Yeah.
I actually quite like it, but it's just I don't know. Did it even move in my top? Probably. Anyway,
I
don't have to answer
I
this.
like the studio version when I'm running and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like it's like a guilty pleasure type of enjoyable song and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is he already 19?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think
Because he's still in school, right?
He's still finishing school. Yeah. So it's
Crazy.
very, very impressive. Kyle is amazing. I don't know how this happened. Sorry, Kyle. You're still great. And let's move on to the biggest climbers. Enough of this negativity. Right. So it was a bit more straightforward with our biggest climbers. There were no ties. We had very, very clear set of countries that climbed in our top. Let me start with an honorable mention. So the 4th place. And that's just for you, August. It's Spain.
Yeah.
Finally, a segue, a natural
Banderas,
segue.
deserved.
Spain climbed the whole, guess how many places?
30.
35, 37.
Not 37 participants.
7.
7. Opa.
Close
right
enough.
Siete.
From our 21st to our top 15 to the 14th
Wow.
place.
Wow.
Climbed 7
Left
places.
side of the
Would
table.
deserve higher, but yes, good. I'm happy.
Next, we have a country that climbed 8 spots. So from our 30th to 22nd.
Yeah. Will it be Serbia or something?
No.
Albania?
No.
No, Albania must be quite high
Albania will be top one in my, I think.
It's also someone we saw yesterday. Someone that united a lot of musicians from different countries.
Oh, Malta.
Malta.
Serving climb.
Serving climb.
Serving climbing.
Not as catchy as...
Yes.
Yeah, well done, Malta, for climbing in our top. Then, our top two, what?
Second
Second
biggest climb.
climb.
Yes, I'll introduce the segment.
Thank you, Gerda.
Second biggest climber. Okay.
Second biggest climber that climbed 10 places
Wow.
from 25th
United Kingdom.
to 15th. From 25th to 15th.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I think the UK, but the UK is another country we haven't touched upon, but I don't think they were that low in our top to start with. I think overall they stayed more about the same because...
So who could be this one then?
25th.
10 places in our top. Someone who
Czechia.
maybe... Yes!
Yeah!
Yeah! Adonis, who mesmerized us with his dance break. And
Yeah, just his dance break, really. Nothing else mesmerized me about
Nothing
his
else.
performance. Not the deep voice.
No. And also, thank you, Adonis, for being so lovely and agreeing to take a picture with me. I appreciated that.
No, look at this. Here. This one.
Okay.
Yes, he was like obviously so busy. There were so many people that wanted to take a picture with him, but he was so kind and friendly to everyone. He's a very nice person.
And he lived in London. I didn't know that. I was
He
surprised
did
by
before
that.
COVID.
He studied here.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that in our episode.
I don't listen to what you're
no,
saying.
don't
It's
listen.
Yeah, you
much
don't care, right?
information.
You don't
yeah,
care.
yeah. You just wait
don't
for your
like-
opportunity to yap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't like Katrina. Yeah. There we
Okay.
go.
And finally, our biggest climber that climbed whole 15 places, which is
15?
incredible. 15 places. It's half of the top. Climbed from the 24th all the way up to the 9th.
Sweden.
I think it's Albania.
It's Albania.
Albania.
15 places up. Incredible result, Albania. Well done.
Well done.
It's like winning Eurovision, basically.
It's pretty much
You
the
won
same.
our hearts.
I feel like we're just catching up with fandom. Like, I feel like everybody else already knew this, and we're just like this big reveal. Guys, Albania is great.
Have you not noticed? Why nobody's talking about Albania?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well said. Well said.
How many places did Sweden climb? Because I definitely pushed it up.
You pushed it up.
I pushed it up as well. I pushed UK up as well.
I think
Oh, well,
I also
okay.
pushed it up.
I will tell you.
Push it.
Right. So pushing up.
What a
pushing
nice
up.
soundtrack, by the way.
Nice. We'll have a background car alarm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robbery. East London.
Sweden went up by 1 place.
Good.
Oops.
Well done, Sweden.
I pushed it up. I also pushed it up.
I pushed it down.
Oops.
How nobody's talking about
How
Sweden?
come you pushed down? How come you pushed it down?
I don't know because it's just
You pushed the
others.
others up.
Yeah, I pushed the other
See,
us.
that's
and
the cruelty.
the
It's
UK.
like the Norway effect.
Actually, we didn't talk about Sweden at all. We talked about it as the biggest crowd pleaser. And the UK, another country that we didn't quite talk about, went down 1 place.
How did it win?
I think it's
think-
more
I think-
about us. Took it down.
Up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Not by much.
Not
but
by
I think-
much, but it was maybe a bit over inflated.
Yeah, I don't think they performed badly. I think
No.
they did everything as
I enjoyed their performance live much more than the video. So I was like, you know what? I'll give you a couple of.
and I think they started with like a crowd pleaser with Give Me a Man After Midnight. I was like,
Yeah.
great start to the performance.
Mhm.
Costumes kind of playing to like London, UK Union Jack theme. I was like, you know what?
I'll push you down.
Yes, that's exactly
what?
my thought process.
Going
Anyway.
down.
No, I was actually thinking during the performance, I wonder what Simona will say tomorrow because she hates that song and I want to hear her reaction. And your reaction
I
is?
don't hate the song, like I said. It just wasn't for me, especially when combined with a video. I think the live, I think when the song is performed on stage, they seem to work together quite naturally and a bit sort of less theater, more, I don't know, natural emotions, it seems like, or a good amount of playfulness that I enjoy watching. So, and they can sing really well, and that was like, obviously I hoped they would, but I'm just happy that they can actually perform on stage. And I was like, you know what, deserve a couple of points up.
Yeah. Other than that, Belgium went up a couple of places. Actually, really liked Belgium yesterday.
Barely talked about them.
We didn't talk about them, but actually, I fell in love with Belgium again after yesterday.
Yeah, same.
I was like, oh God.
It's your biggest surprise.
It's quite a surprise, yeah.
A little bit.
And then the likes of Poland, San Marino stayed where they were. Poland we didn't talk about. Iceland stayed where they were.
What did we talk about? I feel like we should...
Yeah, what did we even talk about?
There's too much, but there's too much.
What are we even doing here?
that night
but we talked
long.
a lot. At the end of the day, we talked about most of the songs. And I guess before we wrap up,
any
final thoughts?
No, I will say,
any final thoughts?
One very honorable surprise and mention is, and a shout out, because the man really worked a lot yesterday, and that was Klemen from Slovenia.
Yes.
So for those...
Okay. Applause.
I was going to continue my point, but yes.
Applause.
No, for those who...
Okay, sit down. We've been re-recording this for so long. Sit down. Sit down. Just finish the episode.
Sit down.
No, but just to give some context, I guess. So as well as performing his own song, he also did his Eurovision parodies on stage live.
Why you wanna wake
He said himself he's not sure how it's gonna work because it's a parody when he can't change costumes, he can't change the kind of the surroundings and etc. And he just went on for 5 minutes, went through like the last 25 winners of Eurovision, and I was just like, wow, this man really knows how to work the audience. Like he was so good at like entertaining.
He's
right?
Such a great performer. And I have seen his original video of these impersonations that maybe only covered up until Maneskin winning. So he has like actual like video segments that he filmed with full-on costume and hair and makeup to make himself look as similar to that winning artist as possible. It's incredible. we have recorded that segment from yesterday, right? So we will share it on our platforms if you want to check it out.
Yeah, I liked his choreography with a few of them. Laureen.
Yeah. He's so good.
The going to the side. Then Mans,
Yeah.
not heroes. And he goes forward.
Yes.
And then he goes again and he goes forward again.
He's so good. He's so good at like picking up a character.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah.
And I just love how he finished the performance with like 2025 and started playing his own song.
Oh yes, that was hilarious. That was funny. That was funny.
It's really kind of, you could have like predicted it, but nobody really was expecting it. And I think the whole audience was like, oh, so good. Like, just really positive kind of.
Yeah.
And it's somehow even more funny because his song is so serious, and he's making a little bit of a joke with like including it as the winner.
Yeah, that was great.
I loved him.
Okay, I guess with this very, very wholesome shout out, thank you, Gerda, for bringing it up. Let's wrap up our London Eurovision Party debrief on our social media platforms. So YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you can find a lot of video material from the party. And we have already uploaded some. We'll be uploading more and more and more over the coming days. Check it out. Let us know what you thought about.
Yeah, who were your disappointments?
And and most importantly, what surprised you?
What surprised you? What was the biggest?
Thank you, everyone, and see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.